The free sites that you can set up your portfolio is on Wix. And if you have a Google account, it allows you to enter the information directly because you can sign up via email or sign up via Google. So I've already signed in. So it's wix.com. And if you've already taken class with me in the past, you've probably already set one up this way. You can go to some other sites, but it's certainly up to you, but I'll just kind of walk you briefly through this site. And my family is getting on my nerves. Anyway, so I'm going to create a new site here. So you create a new site, and my suggestion is you can create a portfolio in CV. So you walk through there. I wouldn't suggest you doing the let Wix ADI create a website for you. Create a new one, and you can choose a template. And what I like to do is I like to choose a template and then work from there. So if you want to be an actor or a model, maybe that would be good. A good one if you want to run for office. You can create a personal profile. So you can choose any one of them, and it really should reflect I don't know if you want to be a drag queen. You can choose any of these that kind of reflect your personality, because what it'll have is it'll have some defaults in terms of fonts. And so I have used this Jessica Preston before. I know some people aren't going to be a scientist. Oh, my other dog is driving me crazy now. This is lovely working from home. So consider all of these different types of websites that you can create. Here you have a one-pager. So here's one for videographer. So I'm going to choose that one. So I'm going to choose edit, edit, edit. There it goes. And my dogs are driving me crazy. I can usually get so much work done at home when I'm not under the gun, but when I have all these other different people screaming at me, it's not that easy. So what you can do is, so this might be the home page, and so you roll over some of this text and you can change it. So you can edit text and change it. So I'm going to call me Beth Bradford. You can obviously change those video photo journalist. And you can change the fonts, as you can see. If you don't like this font, you can change it to something a little bit more your style. And you can adjust, obviously, the size, make it bigger or smaller. So the text settings are pretty self-explanatory. You can also make it appear if you don't want it to show up first. And you can also add more menus. So right now, this is the only menu that's available here. And so you go to menus and pages, and you can keep adding more pages. So I might want to have one that says resume and done. And so you can have maybe one might be work samples, and then click done. So as you can see, and you want to make sure that these are all consistent. So as you can see, I didn't make this all caps. And as you navigate to these specific sites and these specific pages, so this is my work samples, as you can see right there. You can switch the pages up here, but you can also navigate this way. So this is my work samples page. And so here you can decide to change your background. You can add specific media here. Here's where you can change the background, or as you can see, there's a lot of redundancy built in here. So you can change your background this way. You can make it like a really cool, like floating background, so floating particles. And I would be careful in making sure that if you have something like this as a moving background, make sure that you have something static that you want them to see. It can't be the background can't be too busy. So if the background's really, really busy and there's a lot of information here, you want to make sure that there's information that's not too technical or not too difficult to process. So this might be just like some links. And so what you can do is you can add a box. So I'm going to put a shape. So I'm going to put like this little box shape here. And so as you can see, now if I want to change where this is, so see how right now these guidelines tell me that this is centered. So now what I could do is I can add a text box here. And I'm going to put a paragraph text, okay? So then this might be your, I'm Beth Bradford, a journalist based in the Northeast. So you would have your about me. So now I have this on a left align. You'll want to align that a little differently. So you'll have an about me, and I'm going to add another text box that has, so this might be your bio, but I'm going to add a separate one just so you can see what this looks like. So this might be about me. You want to make sure that you have some sort of about me that's going to give some information that is valuable to anybody going to your site. This is this off center, it just drives me crazy. And you want to make sure your layout is relatively clean, so like you don't have obnoxious colors. So you'll want to make sure that this, you know, if you've got mostly blues, you don't want to add like this weird red. That doesn't kind of fit with the overall theme. So that's why it's good to work with those themes. And then, so if you go to another, so maybe you want to have like a podcast. And so say you created a podcast that you really are proud of, or maybe you have some photos. So then you can create, put some embeds in there. So you want to hit add and you go to more, and then you can put, save, two. And so, so you want a custom embed, and you can embed any videos in any podcast or whatever. So even if you have something like a YouTube, so with any sort of video, you'll want to get the embed code off of it. So rather than just copy the link and just pasting the link in there, you'll want to create the embed and then get the embed video. And so copy, and then you'll paste that code in there. Paste it in there, paste it in there, paste it in there. And then hit apply. And then you can open it up so it is full screen. So then if you save it, you can actually look at it and you can preview it. And now on this particular page, this is your podcast page. So this could be anything. So this is what it would look like on the web. So you can play your video from there. That's ultimately what you want to do with your work samples. So any of your work samples, if they're video, you want to lay out, you want to customize the layout so it's neat and it's easy to find. And so I'm going to go back to editor, and you'll need to add some sort of description. So even though somebody might be able to go to this YouTube video, if it's just seen by itself in an embed, you really don't have much information. So anytime you have a video on your website, make sure that you add some sort of text. And I'm going to drag this down here. This video describes how to create in Final Cut Pro. And obviously I can't see the text, so you want to change the colors, and so you can make it white. And you can expand it so that it fits. And you want to avoid these little miniature lags here. So I'm going to adjust this, and that way you can center it according to the video and it looks better. Okay, so you want to make sure that all this text is clean. Make sure that this text is spelled correctly. So any embedded video needs to have a video description at the bottom as well as the embed. Okay, what you can also do on your site is, I'm going to create another page. You can create a photo gallery. So this might be, so if you worked maybe on the paper, this might be some PDFs of what the paper looked like, and you could scan those and add those to your site. And you can add photo galleries, okay? And so you can decide if you want it to be a slider. So the sliders actually look kind of cool, and you see these on many websites. And so you have the arrows in there, right? And then obviously you would upload all of the pictures, okay? So, and then that way people can see it. So I'm going to save it, and so I'm going to preview it. And so these aren't my pictures. And you don't want to use any of the defaults, this default pictures, okay? Especially if you're in media. You want to make sure that you're using your own pictures, okay? So I wouldn't want to publish this because it's not indicative of my media, okay? You'll also want to change this at the bottom. So 2023 by Jeff Carr. So you're not Jeff Carr. Okay, so change those. And you'll also want to change this social bar. So as you see this social bar, if I actually preview this and go to this Vimeo, it's going to go to the Wix Vimeo. So you'll want to make sure that, and this is going to go to the Facebook page Wix, okay? So if you have these social bars, so as you can see, I'll show you the social bar in a second. If you have these on there, make sure that you change them, okay? So you can add a social bar, okay? And you can add those to your social media bar. And so obviously, if I have my own Vimeo channel, you can set those links in there. Okay, so if you don't have a Vimeo channel, you delete it. If you have a Facebook page that is specific to your business or something that you would like them to see, then you would put that in there. If you have a YouTube channel, you want to make sure that you put the link to your YouTube channel in there. Okay, so make sure all of these are set to your social media accounts and not Wix. I've had some students in the past who have forgotten to do that, and so when I click on these buttons at the bottom, they will go to Wix, and that's a big no-no. So as you can see, there's a lot of options for you. You can create a Lightbox, and those are those little things that kind of pop in. I find them to be incredibly annoying, but if you think that's great, then by all means put it in there, but they can be very, very annoying. You can create your own blog. If you're a writer, I would suggest you're doing that, because this is a place that you can house your blog. You can also create a bunch of apps, add some apps. So if you want to put your resume, so embed and display PDF documents direct. So if you want to put your resume there, you can add this app on there and it'll let you do that. Another thing I actually think is cool is this Instagram. So what it'll do is it'll create a widget. And so you put your Instagram information in there, and then it'll actually put a little box onto your site, and you decide where it's going to be, and it's going to show all of you. It's going to be in real time, any updated Instagram photos that you might have. So I can't emphasize enough how important it is for you to make your page as simple as possible and easy to navigate. Okay, so you don't want a million different offerings in your menu. Just keep that very, very simple. And that way the user has the option to choose if they want to look at your resume, if they want to look at your work samples, if they want to subscribe to your podcast. They can decide where they want to go. Okay. You can also add media. I think the limit is like 10 gigabytes for free or something like that. I would choose to embed your media, but this is also good for some basic pictures. All right. So then you don't have to publish right away, but when we create our rough draft, you'll go to Site and Get Feedback. Okay, Cite and Get Feedback. Okay, and then you'll copy the link, and then you'll share it in course modules. So I don't think I've added the discussion yet. I might have. Early portfolio critique and discussion. So, so you'll post that as an original post, and you'll give feedback. Okay, so that is the breakdown. Now, if you choose to use WordPress or whatever, and you really, really like WordPress, or if you want to use Adobe, then by all means use it. But this is an easy one for you to use, and it's free, and it's kind of professional looking.